Oh, making a video. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be various subjects, I imagine. Well, let's start off with Holiday on ethics. I don't know if you saw my most recent video on right to be wrong, which I think is really a good video. Anyway, so we'll play some of this, but I mean, he's doing this Kantian thing, which is basically some sort of philosophy of it's not to first do no harm exactly, which would be a great theme, you know, as an idea. First do no harm. Yeah, I mean that sounds like a winner. But it's basically this idea that you don't use people. Would be the ethic, and everything's constructed around that kind of a concept. That if people have a utility to you, where your action is probably in some way compromising. You know, even that is in itself okay, but it doesn't really say anything about what usury is. It could be argued that love is using somebody, or it's pretty obvious for males anyway. You know, it's even admiration, lots of things are that we think of as expressions of giving are really takings. We often give because there's a taking in it, a pride in it, you know, a self satisfaction in exercising our power to help somebody and to feel like we are a good person and all of this kind of crap. So there's so much compensation. So I mean, just saying that our psychology is so convoluted in that sense. I don't think there's any hope of reclamating psychology as a mode of deriving any kind of concept of ethics. And he's making some argument that somehow evolution is where we go to look for functional things related to ethics or justice or any of this stuff. And I think that's just nonsense. I mean, he's making an argument, well, this is more evolutionary grounded. That's almost an argument against it then. The Tyrannosaurus was evolution's description of ethics. So there's just, you know, AIDS virus is evolution's description of ethics. So don't talk to me. I mean, it's a completely parasitic engine. And you're going to argue to me that there's ethics built into that. Well, of course not. It's not where you go. As I think I've pointed out, what we have is a scheming mind, evolutionarily. And the trick is that we can pervert its use. We can distort its use. We can swing it outside of our own interest and put it outside of ourselves, essentially, and use it as an analytical tool, because that's basically what it is. Scheming is analyzing. And so we have this analyzing ability, and all we have to do is detach it from our personal interest a little bit, and yes, it's very functional. So in that sense, if Kant would just stop at that biological function of not being yourself, using your analytic tool to recognize what's valuable in the world and how to best apportion the value, almost in a Marxian way. Yes, and now you're going to call that utilitarian and say that somehow that doesn't satisfy some necessity, and of course it does. So, you know, again, the bottom line is your ethics and your justice is of no value if it doesn't improve the living conditions of the future. That's the stakeholder here. And I argue that utilitarian logic is much more likely to produce positive results than some going to our innate nature. You're not going to find anything in our nature of value. It's all a desire engine, and it's the biases are intrinsic, and even the ones that appear generous, as I'm trying to point out, are not really generous. When a man possesses a woman, he's not really being generous. You know, come on.
So in this sense, although I balk at the idea of explaining one's intuitions, in one sense, I do find it compelling that Kantian reasoning does fit within a evolutionary mode of reasoning.
Yeah, entirely as gang warfare. So I mean, it fits in the sense that, oh, okay, so the hoodlums, the crooks, figured out how to become a gang, and then because they had some solidarity with their bigoted gang members, therefore we have ethics. I mean, if that's how you're going to derive your ethics, is the advantage of your gang, that's not ethics at all. That's nothing. I mean, it's no better. You've just changed the. It's still might makes right, and you've just changed now the now might can be the gang. The gang can just kill the individual, and it's okay. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. That's not ethics.
More readily and more as a foundational principle than utilitarianism might be. Utilitarianism is a pure act of reason, and you can't. The point is you can't even begin to argue for utilitarianism without at first assuming the guy you're arguing with has some innate value in himself.
Well, in himself is kind of illogical. I mean, innate value in himself. I don't even know what that exactly means. But I mean, all you have to do is be sentient. I mean, quite obviously, ethics is going to be hard to explain to a non-sentient. So something that can't be harmed, something that can't feel bad, isn't really going to understand the need for ethics because it's all win, right? There's no fucking way to lose if you can't feel bad, right? Right? So if you're arguing to me that somehow somebody has to first have the capacity to feel good and bad and know what a bad feeling is, well, yeah, I don't think I'm going to have a hard time explaining that to everybody. I think everybody knows something feels bad. We don't agree on what feels bad. We don't agree on how bad is. But we know everybody knows the difference between fun and not fun.
This is the point. Kantian reasoning precedes utilitarian reasoning.
Yeah, I've failed to understand that argument at all. It doesn't precede anything. It doesn't come up with any fundamental value except the value of somebody's projected notions. It's basically just saying, well, you have some projected notions. Now, as long as your projected notions of value don't require somebody else to be a slave, it's okay. But again, Kant he didn't make any connections to the biosphere that we enslave, or the animals we enslave, or all the subtle enslaveries of, even, like I said, human relationships that are glorified, love, and what kind of slavery is involved in that taking.
Anyway, I got off subject there. I wanted to talk about this loyalty business. And once you understand that Kantian reasoning...
Well, somewhere he says, I'm not going to play anymore of his, it's boring. Sorry, but yeah. I mean, quite obviously, loyalty is bullshit. Emotional attachments, bigotries are fundamentally, logically understandable as completely outside the realm of anything called justice. So as soon as you allow your bigotries to own your definition of right and wrong, you've broken your definition of right and wrong. So yeah, and our intuition is, again, this is just bigotries. These are just subjective idiocies of our nature. And again, the fact that we developed evolutionarily as social animals and therefore had social code that made us a little better than insects, well, whoop-de-doo. I mean, if you're going to use that as your value paradigm, you're going to fail. Because again, it doesn't mean much. Those subtle little corruptions, the deal making, the mob making, the rules of the mob, where, you're manipulating and using each other, but it's in a way that maintains the cohesiveness. You're one of us. We have the goods on you, so we can extort you to go murder somebody for us because, yeah, we can get you in trouble if you don't. We've got you on a murder charge, so now we basically own you, because if you don't do more murders for us, we'll out you on your murder. Or we'll tell the other mob that you're the one who killed Sonny. and you know, they're going to come and get you. You know, I mean, that politics can hardly be called something called a value. That politics is pragmatic, and yeah, there's again usury built into it all over the place. The being nice, you know, give your neighbors some cookies, and you know, maybe, you know, they won't shoot their grass onto your lawn or something, or they blow their leaves onto your lawn. You know, it's all this negotiation that has nothing to do with right and wrong, has nothing to do with improving tomorrow. It just has to do with this pragmatic, political, bigoted decision. So again, somewhere in here he says that evolution doesn't do the utilitarian thing, and of course the utilitarian thing is based on first recognizing the value. The value is in the sentient organism's experience, so of course it precedes, and it does so very quite explicitly. And once you've established that the only real value, okay, is the feeling we have, I mean, what gets you off is not terribly relevant. Whether you have a foot fetish or a belly button fetish or a nose fetish or an armpit fetish, are you going to tell me that these individual fetishes have credibility independent of each other? No, they have no credibility individually or as fetishes. The only thing that's credible, the only thing that's meaningful is that it does get the individual, it does create a feeling in them, a spiritual feeling, according to Pyrrho. And that's all that matters, is the feeling. And so the real question is, how do you produce more of this positive feeling in the most efficient way? So now you just measure the foot fetish against the rape and murder fetish. And you say, well, gee, you know, if you're going to have a fetish, you're going to get off, maybe it's better you have that foot fetish than the rape and murder fetish. Yeah, that would probably be better, because, yeah, it'll cause less harm. It's more efficient. All right, it's the better automobile to buy. It's less of a gas guzzler. Okay, so, and that's all the ethics become, is trying to migrate yourself to a higher efficiency in your production of satisfaction and gratification in the world. Yeah. So anyway, enough of that. So moving on. But yeah, I think I've just nailed it again. But I'm just saying, you know, my last video nailed this subject, in my opinion. So I'll move on to the Pyrrho Dospook thing, which was just incredible nonsense. Cat. Yes, I'm wearing the blue shorts. You know, try to make nothing fall out. Yeah. Yesterday, funny day. So. Yes, you're in your petting chair, so you have to get a pet. It's true. So anyway, so yeah, 6 hours of Dospook and the drunk. Okay, that's, but it's true. There's no point in, look, so, see, this is all nice and cut now. See? Lovely, lovely. It really is going to be quite nice. This keeps wanting to go places, so we will tangle him in such a way as he cannot go. Yeah, so it's getting there. Got the toilet back up. It's ready to go. No, I gotta get rid of that. It was an art piece at one time. Yeah, it's still kind of an art piece, right? I mean, it does say something. Yeah, I don't know what it says, but it does say something. Yeah, my old bathtub. Anyway. Yeah, people like those pedestal tubs, but, you know, really they're a pain in the ass. I mean, it's nice that they're a little bigger, but they're shorter, and they're deeper, which is nice, but they're, yeah, well, lots of, yeah. But yeah, they're just no good for a modern house. Water everywhere. No good for a shower, of course. Anyway, pond, sorry. Tools, yay. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, so Pyrrho and Dospook. Yeah, so there's no point in having an analysis beyond just saying that, you know, these guys are just going to talk about philosophy from this personal, subjective position. How does it make me feel? What does it do for me personally? You know, it's just a, it's not a conversation, in my opinion, worth having. You know, I suppose there's some point in people instructing each other in how to properly masturbate or do things to get the most out of them. You know, do some yoga and do some other kind of crap, and we can all be proselytizers of our own personal method of survival and joy and happiness and comfort. But that's not philosophy. It's not science. It's mush, and it's just kind of obnoxious to disguise it as if it is some sort of real conversation about being a real human. And obviously I would argue that becoming a real human is detaching yourself from this crap and trying to reflect on what it is to be human, to have the responsibility and the burdens of an intelligent brain. Let's make it soft here. So I can't. That's better. Sinking again now. Slowly. Whoops. Yeah, that is not going to work. I have to sink evenly on all four legs. Yeah, so eventually it should dry out here, then I won't sink, which will be very nice. To be able to have a chair that doesn't sink. But this is just splendid. 20 years ago, this is where I used to come back here to do my contemplations. I mean, I have an old picture of me with the possum, sitting in a chair right there. It's just kind of funny. I just haven't had the luxury of doing this, just because it's been so not pleasant to be outside with dogs barking and, noise making and such. And, just the birds are incredible this year. I guess it's last year with the cicadas, there's just birds, a lot of birds thrived, and because they're just, they're everywhere, singing and such. But that's beside the point. And so this is what we do. We live, and we need to emotionally and physiologically enjoy and be at peace in our lives, and these are all good things. But this is not philosophy. The philosophy of happiness is not the science of being human. And like I said, I wouldn't be nearly as mad or angry or disturbed by the nonsense and the rubbish that these people talk if they weren't doing it as if this is a legitimate philosophical conversation. That this has something to do with something besides some self-indulgent, I really like to just rub my nipples, get a little hard, it's a little, ooh, oh yeah, that's an interesting sensation. I mean, that's, fine. You want to make videos about how to rub your nipples and have a good feeling? Well, go ahead and make videos about that, but, don't pretend you're part of a community talking about what it is to be human, or part of a community that's trying to reclamate culture and civilization, from the debauchery of ego godisms and idolatries and theisms and deisms and all this kind of crap. I mean, it's just, it's obnoxious for you to get on our train and, drag your feet playing silly baby games with your nipple rubbing. You're just dragging the thing down. You're just destroying credibility. You're a menace to the truth. You're a menace to what the human race needs, which is rational, hard reasoning, explicit decisiveness. It needs to understand, thoroughly as possible, and it needs to act decisively. And this mushy, wishy-washy, self-indulgent, diversity-indulgent, just make up your own theory of reality kind of crap is, again, it's just toxic to the cause. Toxic should be perceived as just so destructive and malicious, of vandalism to anybody who has an intellect and has any kind of respect for the truth and any kind of respect for the need of knowledge to be carefully organized and packaged and presented. You just don't do this. You just don't wrap things this sloppily. You know, and you don't do it in this, you know, chocolate-covered coating bullshit way. Like, well, how, you know, let's manufacture it to be a conversation about our emotions, and we're really talking about the truth. I mean, this is just. No, this is wrong. It's and from somebody who's intelligent, I'm just going to say it's maliciously evil. It's nasty to be doing this, in the pretense that you're going to disguise your addictions and your attachments and your dependencies, and because you need a personal rationalization for them, you're going to you know, make it a credible philosophical subject because you need to. Yeah, that's a kind of maliciousness from anybody intelligent, because anybody intelligent should know that that's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to earn it, and the truth has to be served first. You don't get to get served first. What you want the truth to be is not relevant at all. And you're trying to make it dominant, and through just grotesque rationalizations, glorifications of your silly, you know, psychological masturbations. Yeah. But yeah, again, it's all fine if you just label what you're doing and say you're not being a philosopher, you're not being a serious thinker. You're just being a person who wants to explain to other people how to drink, how to have fun being a drunk, how to glorify and make yourself feel like you have a bigger dick than you really do, or that your farts don't smell as much as they do. You know, if you want to, you know, make videos about how to indulge yourself and be a glutton and a hedonistic pig, well then fine. But just just say that's what you're doing. You're not doing philosophy, because it's not philosophy. It's rationalization, and it sucks. The only good news is it's so inane and so nonsensical that I can't see anybody with any kind of serious brain, you know, not somebody who isn't so fucking retarded that they're probably beyond reclamation, being able to sit through it. I mean, it was just horrible. I mean, 6 horrible hours of blah 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 blah, gobbledygook, 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 mumbo jumbo, mumbo jumbo. Yeah, it was just crap. Not a valuable piece of. Not a real piece of gold in the whole damn thing. Just glitter and fuzz and fluff and lint. You know, 2 egos just massaging the fuck out of each other. Yeah, I guess that's all you need to say. Yeah, other participants either didn't show up or they weren't invited into the room, or however it works, but yeah, unfortunately, it was just Dospook and Pyrrho. And Pyrrho just got drunker and drunker and drunker. And, you know, apparently, you know, he likes that. I mean, apparently if somebody else would do drunk videos, like if Greg Tex could make a 3 or 4 hour drunk video, he would really enjoy that. But, I mean, I personally I find drunk talk more irritating than baby talk. I mean, I'd rather listen to 7-year-old conversation than listen to drunk, you know, oh, dude, man, yeah, them fuckers, you know, it's just so, wow. And he, you know, like I said, I mean, he's not an idiot, so you have to say, well, he apparently thinks that drunk talk is fun talk. And for me personally, like I said, I don't, you can get beat drunk, do whatever the fuck you want, it's okay with me. I'm just saying, for me personally, it really becomes obnoxious just because I've been there and done this. I've seen alcohol, you know, just kill people and turn them into just obnoxious and inane idiots. And I've listened to so many hours of drunk talk, and I'm just so full of it. I'm just so fucking, not another bite will I invite into my life. And so my bad for, I should have just said, as soon as it was apparent and obvious that he was going to get drunk, I should have just said fuck this. But anyway, at least it really just validates the point that, you know, I just have to just cut these people off. They're going to do their thing, and they're not going to be honest about what they're doing. You know, and yeah, they just don't have the integrity to admit that all this crap just has to do with what they need the truth to be, and has nothing to do with what the facts indicate is going on planet Earth. It's a replicating molecule that makes parasites that compete with each other for survival, and do so with built-in incredible attrition rates based on insane strategies. Like, I'll win by having 1 million babies. These are real strategies in the world. You know, I'll win by, you know, shooting my babies, injecting them into, you know, some other organism and having the maggot eat their brain. You know, this is what this is building, and this is what we're a byproduct of. And because we are a little distant from that, and through distance have acquired strategies that are, as I've stated before, a little more efficient, in the sense of some of the grotesqueness of the gladiator tool. You know, that instead of, you know, it's almost, you could argue almost like a technology argument that, you know, if gladiators had guns, well, it would be cleaner. You know, at least you would, you know, you just shoot them in the headshot and it's over. You know, but if all you gave them was spoons or forks, you know, the thing is quite ugly. And I'm just, so yeah, we're sophisticated enough not to be eating, you know, with the crudest of hardware. But, you know, we have metal spoons instead of wooden ones, or however you want to describe it. But we're still silt. We can see what we are by nature, and there's nothing to glorify, and certainly nothing to be self-satisfied with. I'm not saying you should exist without massaging the necessary pain away of life as an individual. Find your places to go, find your moments, but again, you do that stuff in private. You jerk off in private. You don't do it and call it philosophy. I mean, you can, you know, but just label it that, you know, this is what I think of the world, you know, and, you know, there could be a statement, but I'm just saying that statement would at least be an honest statement of just how crass and gross life is, rather than a statement saying this is the glory and the magic and God is in the magnificent sunlit, yeah, the sun-warmed nipple rub. One with the universe. Yeah, I mean, come on. No sale, for sure. Anyway. Oh, I should show you the tree. It's quite funny. It's not funny, actually. It's quite tragic. yeah, I'll go around. It's not tragic. I really will be okay now, but it's, you know, this tree cracked years ago, like, you know, another one of those 20 years ago thing. So I put this giant chain in there, you know, to keep the tree from splitting. So, you know, that big crack. So I put that big chain in there, and it ate into the tree and all that, but it broke. And it's another victim of the hurricane. It broke that frickin' chain. So the crack opened and goes all the way down. So, but the good news is, if I cut a couple of these off, the weight of the tree looks pretty much like it's gonna go that way, so I'll be okay. And this piece looks pretty much like it's gonna go that way. So it almost looks like, you know, it can't hit the house. Physics-wise, the split's going pretty good. Anyway, for, you know, not house hitting. Anyway, so that's good news. I mean, it's bad news, but it's good news. Kind of a thing. So anyway, plants doing all, you know, fluffy. Yeah, really are getting there. Almost, you know, soon to be some flowers maybe. This is really disturbing me though. I hate losing this plant. But it really just doesn't look good at all. Looks like it's just gonna die. Damn it. I thought I'd get some flowers this year, but I guess not. Well, anyway. It's too bad. Yeah. Tough shit. I was just, you know, rhododendrons, you know, you keep them for, you know, years, and just kind of irritating that I've been nursing that one. I mean, it was just a little tiny, I've been nursing it for years and years, and now it's finally just going to die. And, you know, I should have just read the writing on the wall. I mean, I got it because somebody else said, this thing's just going to die. And I was like, oh, no, it isn't. And, yeah, well, apparently it is. You know, it's not going to make it to being something. I don't know what that is. Doesn't really matter. You're probably not that interested. Yeah, flower talk. I really do have to see the blue flowers way over there. They are, what do they call them? Damn, I don't remember. Some kind of nettles. Dead nettle. Purple dead nettle. So I thought that was a good name. But yeah, it is weird, the two colors thing happening. So I have to go get some close-up photography. But yeah, it was funny. I went to, you know, somebody posted a link to a flower, you know, North American flower website, and you know, the picture of it was so bad. You know, it was a picture of one that only had like 3 flowers on it, and they really do get lush when they're flowering. And so you didn't even recognize it because it looks nothing like it when it's really flowering. They have a picture of it when it's in like a lame, you know, it's not even close to being its full flower. And so it's like showing a picture of something when it's budding or something instead of when it's flowered. Well, anyway, so it was just kind of funny that you wouldn't recognize it from the picture provided because the picture was so bad. Yeah. I mean, it's basically this stuff here. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's not. Yeah, I don't know. Well, whatever. I have to go more research now. I think it's the dead nettle. Yeah, anyway. But see, it looks kind of lame here because these are like weak ones. So, you know, but when it's really robust, it's really robust. Hey, columbine's almost flowering. Yeah, these would be really nice columbines if they didn't do this droopy thing. Like they ruin the whole, they have like kind of interesting flowers, but they just droop, so you never see the flower, you just see it drooping. What's the point of that? So, evolution got that one wrong too. Yeah, ruined a perfectly good flower. I wonder why. Oh, that's right, it doesn't give a fuck. Anyway. So, yeah, everything's just okay. I'm feeling okay about this whole gardening thing. I got netting, and I got stuff, and I'm going to trim that one a little bit. Salvage my roses. Cover them. So, yeah, tomatoes. Yeah, it's going to be nice eventually, probably. Yeah, see, these are kind of sparsy. So I don't know. Well, now that we've done this, I might as well take the walk over there and see if it's the same flower. So it's a little like it's almost like a little iris-looking flower. Forget-me-nots. These used to be, you know, they would just be a wall of them, like a mystic. Probably has a wall of them. But I just haven't been reseeding them on purpose, and they've slowly been fading out. So you got some over here. But I mean, the grape patch is right here. And this is just so. Look at that. Yeah, that's the same shit. So you know, the ones in the in the photograph had like 3 flowers on it. So it's like completely different when you look at this full one. You know. But the weird thing is you know, you got these here, they have this nice blue color, and then like right over here even, you know, you got a mixture, blue, and then, you know, kind of fadey violet. And, you know, who knows, maybe it's chemistry, you know, when they planted, but look, you got like a slight little dividing line here between these 2 colors. It's all one color here, all one color. I mean, they're like racist or something. You know, it really is kind of interesting. But it really doesn't make bad grass, actually. You know, when you mow these things down, they're kind of a nice blanket of stuff. I mean, it's not very durable grass, but I mean, it's a nice green. They're not really a bad weed to have, I guess is what I'm saying. Is they're attractive when you let them grow, and when you cut them, it's not a bad look. It has nice dark green leaf, and they're not too, you know, they're not like dandelions. But yeah, it really is. See, so these are like weak ones here. You know, they're sparse, and well, they're pretty heavily flowered, but yeah. Anyway, just curious. I have to do more of this nature thing. Start learning some wildflowers again. I used to know all that crap, and you know, I used to go on walks just looking at wildflowers. I know. Like, who has time for that? Anyway, so enough of the video. See you the next time, which probably will be this afternoon, because I just keep doing this. We'll see. Maybe I'll just do a couple of question videos or something if I can figure out a good question to ask. You know, besides, why are you such an asshole? Seems like the only question worth asking. Anyway, it's nice here. Myrtle doing a poison ivy's doing really nice. Oh, that's not a good thing. It's just, I gotta get rid of that shit. But this ought to be nice little row of irises here. That would be good. I have to do something with this area. These hibiscus have taken over. But whatever. Yeah, I gotta reclaim my front yard a little. And such. Yeah. Okay. I think that's enough. I gotta cut this back too. This is a nice ivy, this bittersweet, I guess it is. But, I mean, it really has just taken over the whole interior of this maple tree. But it's, you know, it's nice. It's kind of an evergreen. Well, it's a durable green, let's say. And, I mean, it really filled in that tree. Because I had the tree way cut back. Because it was a real threat to human life and such. It really did help having the ivy fill it in. I guess there's a point where it's going to start killing it. But I really hate to kill it. It really is one hell of a... Yeah, it's a lot of ivy. Megatons. Anyway, till later.